Round two, New York City SEAL Swim. It's Jim and Lucas here. We're running the show. A lot of lessons we talked about in the prep leading up to it. And again, one of the reasons we wanted to spend two episodes on this event alone was the lessons that we learned so we can pass them along to you, but also relive some of the stories and go over that. So today, we're going to talk about game day, the event itself. That you can train as much as you should and be able to for any kind of conflict, event, challenge, whatever. But then there's the event itself. And so you get to be able to adapt and adjust. And we're going to talk about how everything transpired a couple days leading up to it and the day of the event. So, because there were some ups and downs, which is cool. And so we're going to get into that. So, just Jim and Lucas again, rehashing it out, and we're going to get right at it.
All right, leaving off where we left, kind of picking up where we left off. We talked about your training and your processes for the first 6 months and the last 6 months of your swim journey, and your last 2 months of your oh shit moments, and you're trying to figure that out. So we've already covered all that. We know where you started. We know how prepped you were for it, and
Mm-hmm.
we're a couple days out. You're flying out to you're flying out to New York to do this thing. Tell us about what's going through your brain, how you're feeling, what are your emotions. Tell us the whole deal. When you get there, what are you thinking? Tell us about what's going through your brain.
Oh, man, that's good. So, a lot of people are better or worse, or they get anxiety for this and that, or they're just super chill. So I'm always a combination. And so a couple days leading into it, like for my brain, and it's a bit ADHD in nature, it's bouncing around all over the place, but it keeps landing on this event, boom, boom, boom. Because having not done something like this before, I haven't earned the confidence. So there's a level of fear and uncertainty, and so many other folks of the 350 people that were doing it, most are veteran swimmers. And by veteran, I mean some of these people are looking to swim the English Channel, where they compete in international triathlons, or they're SEALs themselves. So a lot of expertise, a lot of comfort there. I'm still early on in the comfort journey, so having been in the Hudson River, I can tell you swimming in Bryan's Pond not a big deal anymore, right?
Yeah.
So Thursday we roll in, we land in New Jersey, where we go by the park where everything's going to start. Kind of just show Jen some things. We go over to the hotel, super awesome. Picking up your gear, you get a gym bag, blah blah blah, shirt, hats. You get this really sweet uh, coin that military people use, right? They trade coins and stuff. So here it is. Then there's about a dozen U.S. flags out there on the table, and each participant is supposed to sign the flag. So we do that, and they're giving away, or they're selling or auctioning them off for charity. So Thursday is super chill. Have some good food. We walk around. I meet some other folks. Some people I've never met before, but we're all part of the Facebook group for the SEAL Swim. They recognize me from the videos I put out or things that they put out. So they're coming
Nice.
up to me and they're, hey, you're Jim Beebe, right? I'm like, hey, man, you're Joe, and we're just hanging out and talking. So it's pretty sweet, and everyone was supportive. Everyone was a teammate. Everyone was, hey, man, swim by me. I'll be looking out for you. Are you wearing a swim cap? What color is it? Green? All right, I'll be looking for green. So people were already looking out for us.
Now,
And
I don't mean to interrupt, but
yeah,
most of these people, I'm assuming, are good swimmers. Like you said, Navy SEALs. Like, did they did they immediately know you're you're kind of like a not a SEAL? They
right,
know
yes,
we're not a really good
yes.
swimmer, and they help you with that.
You're talking to the folks, and one, we're wearing these swim shorts, and if you're a SEAL, you have a different logo on your shorts, so people already know, right?
Gotcha.
Or if you're so the civilians or patriots are wearing other shorts that tell you, hey, this guy isn't one. So there's that, but we weren't walking around in those shorts then. I used this guy Jeff with campfire videos, and he always videos our summits. And he came and did a little commercial for this event for me, and it interviewed me. And the whole point is to raise money, so we were able to do that. And so I put the entire commercial in the group. So a lot of people knew, hey, Jim's not a SEAL. Jim is 50 years old. He is swimming for his life here. He's doing everything he can to help out. So people knew that I was kind of at the bottom, but I also knew that I had qualified and earned the right to be there and came a long way. Uh, yeah, people, and then you know what? When you walk into the ring or you walk into the gym, you can tell who's been there for a while and who hasn't. And so I was one of the guys that was new, and I'm just kind of learning, head down, mouth shut, picking things up, and other people are just like having the best time, just ready to party.
Nice, nice.
Friday was a lot of cool historic stuff. So any of the participants, we got to go on a tour of the New York Stock Exchange.
Hmm.
And for me, having been in the financial world for 15 years before I started the gym world, uh, that was cool. We went on a tour of the Holocaust Museum, with all the slaughtering of those poor Jewish souls. A lot of Israeli Navy SEALs fly in to New York to do this event and support it. So the Jewish culture was huge and supporting our event. So one of the stops that we had on Friday was at the Holocaust Museum. That was huge. Then there was a tour of the World Trade Center. I actually didn't go on that when I hooked up with Jen. We went on something else. On the way out, I'm still working on brainwashing myself for the event. So you better believe I watched Rocky 1
Yeah,
because he just fights all the way to the end. And so I love that one. So I'm watching that. And then when I have free moments, I'm just making sure that I'm listening to positive motivational things and I'm hydrating a ton. And then
nerves starting to get more and more.
it wasn't bad until Friday. And because it's the night before, and I'm making sure I'm hydrating and I'm just lying there in bed. I made sure I was outside. I did some things that were physical with those tours, but I ate plenty. And now I'm just relaxing, watching TV, and I do some reading before I go to bed. Now it's time to sleep, and it's early. It's like 9:30, and I'm just sitting there, eyes wide awake. I'm just wide awake, and so I would doze off. But when I would wake up, it felt like I didn't sleep at all. I felt like I was awake the whole time, but I know I dozed off, or Jen said I did. So I was either thinking about the next day, or dreaming about it, or both. I don't know, but it felt like I didn't sleep much, even though I did. And the next morning, did not feel like eating at all because now nerves are kicking in. But
Mm,
I know all I have is a small run, and I don't actually jump in the water until 11:30. So you can't eat dinner at 6 the night before and have no food until 11:30, and then you jump in the water and just have a little bit here and there after 11:30 on. Because once you're
yeah,
in the fight, then you feel fine. You know,
right.
once that you have that first hit in football, right?
Oh yeah.
All the nerves are gone. So once
It,
I jumped in the water, nerves are gone.
that reminds me of my bodybuilding competition. Something completely new to me. I the night before, first of all, I'm super hungry and just tired, dead, so I don't have a hard time falling asleep because I'm just already just exhausted, but I remember getting ready for it and the pre-show stuff. I'm ready to go. I'm super nervous, and then it happened so fast. I'm the first person to go on stage and do my routine. I was like, "Oh, I don't even have time to like watch." Like it was I had to recall and know all my training before, like just like that. As soon as it was game time, at the second I had to go out there, I had to be like, "Okay, I've done all this before. Just do what I'm told to do because I know how to do it." You know what I mean?
Yes,
And as soon as you go out there and you're doing it, it goes away.
it's a bit freeing mentally when you're like, all right, here's what I'm supposed to do. And you just focus on those steps. And whenever I would do that, everything got pretty easy. So the next morning, I got up and started head on over to New Jersey for the show we were about to put on.
See, that's whenever you're about to do an intense event or something you're excited for, and you kind of the second you're going through it, your body, like, you can feel the I'm about to lock up and freeze,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel that lock up and freeze, like, oh, I could. If you're not ready for this, people will lock up, and that's why they lock up and freeze and can't. They just can't push through because they're not prepared for it. But um, it reminds me of that a lot. Um, you know, so you didn't eat much, right? Before you.
Well, I forced down food, and I knew some things I will be able to eat quickly and digest well. So I
Did you
made
have
sure
that
I'm.
planned out?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Oh yeah, Jen, because Jen, I'm good at nutrition with people. She's great.
Gotcha.
Like I'm a B plus,
Yeah.
and she's an A plus. And so she's like, "What's going to be easy for you to digest and quickly?" I go, "Shakes and bananas." All right,
Gotcha.
but she says, "But you need some fat." All right, so we'll eat this really quickly, force that down, and then be done. So
Gotcha.
I'm eating at 7. I got to be there at 8. We don't start the show until 9.
Hmm.
So, uh, and usually day of any event, I'm going to be in the bathroom a couple times, making sure everything's cleaned out and good to go. So I've never had any problems there.
Got it.
And we get over to the venue, one last go, and then you start meeting people that I knew, the people that have been on the podcast, or you meet Bill, and then you start meeting people like Jason Redman.
Mm-hmm.
If you know Jason at all, he's in the military. He was in Bethesda. Not to trivialize it, but essentially his face got shot off and blown off. And so he reconstructive and always had a huge positive mindset. And basically the sign on his door, hospital door says, "Hey, if you got a bad attitude, don't come in here because we're just about winning." Right. So this dude's public speaker, he's just legend. I met him and I'm just like holding it together. My that dude's awesome. I met Tim Brown. He was on our show. He was, at 9/11 getting smashed, losing all his buddies. Met him. And then you meet the ladies that were on the show too. It was just awesome. So you kind of calm them down, and everything's going fine. And then like, all right, now we're wearing these Ranger panties size shorts, which they were great to swim in, right? But I'm like, I'm wearing an extra large, and these things are snug. But I'm 6'3", 250, right? Most of these guys are much smaller and leaner, but uh, all those days of lifting and then leaning out from the swimming. So I'm still 6'3", 250, wearing these shorty shorts. And they start thanking all the people that raised so much money, and they have the speeches. And if you're like one of those people like Jason Redmond that they're honoring, like you literally get this gladiator sword
Oh,
for
wow.
to
Nice.
like to like kill people, right? And that's like your prize. And they had like Miss USA and Miss New Jersey, one singing the Star Spangled Banner, and another one singing like, America the Beautiful. And it's just awesome event after awesome event before we even started the run.
Yeah. The next couple, just kind of like we did in the last show, take us through. So there's going to be three phases of this. How did you got done with all the shows, you got your food in, you done messing people, you guys are on the start line. Talk about the the start, you know, take us through the start, take us through the middle, and kind of give us an idea about the end because you've
It's a roller
told me
coaster.
before, it's a wild story and it needs to be told. So tell us about from start to finish.
So the first leg is going to be everything up until the swim. The middle leg is going to be all the swimming components, and the last leg will be after the swim. So the first piece, we're going to run for a mile, and by run, they call it a shuffle, and a lot of times you're even walking.
Yeah.
It's more ceremonial. We got 350 of us. Each of us has an American flag, except for those SEALs from Israel. They're carrying an Israeli flag, and there's people cheering us, and we want to bring awareness. So we're just running along the banks of the Hudson River in the state park, and we're just carrying some American flags. There's a Humvee in front of us that's videotaping everything, and it's just cool. Not for nothing. It's now 10:30 for us to run two miles, which isn't hard, but we've been sitting there in the sun from I got there about 7:30, so been sitting in the sun for 3 hours,
Probably
and
tired just from that.
a little bit, right? But that's not the hardest part. So we're kind of just trotting along, having a good time. People are cheering us. At the 1 mile mark, we all spread out over this field and we formed this huge circle to have these parachuters drop down. So they already timed that. So you got some tandem people jumping, then they got some individuals jumping with like smoke coming out of their shoes or whatever it was, like this different
Yeah.
colored smoke. And there's other tandem. These other two guys are jumping down, flying down, and they're carrying a U.S. flag that's enormous. And then they split, and then they all land. And it was super cool, super badass. And then we pick up the second part of the run, 1 more mile with the flag, and we get to that point, turn over our flags, and all our bags are there with all our gear. Now it's time to transition. First phase is about done. We're loading up on sunscreen, and putting all our stuff in the bag. So at that point, all you need is the shorty shorts that you're wearing, your swim fins, and a pair of goggles. I slammed a Gatorade and a banana, get some quick calories. And some people are so badass they're not even wearing fins. Like Kathy Remington, 61-year-old or 63-year-old crazy nut. She's awesome. No fins at all. And so some aren't. And so we start making our way to this bridge where we insert. So now we can ready to start phase two. It's game day, right? And you can think about you're jumping about 15 plus feet up into the water. You can be nervous about that. You can be nervous about the
Pretty
bull
high.
shark. It was, right? The bull sharks below. Um, anything, right? You're looking at the current. I don't know what's hard or what's not, what's bad or what isn't, but I'm like, this looks hard to me. And there's three legs of the swim. In the first leg, you're swimming against the current. Statue
Gotcha.
of Liberty is going to be on your left. You're going to swim up to the Statue of Liberty and go around it a little bit to that first barge. The barge is anchored to the ground. You want to swim up to the extension ladders into the water, climb up the extension ladders, and then get safely on the barge. Finish phase one. We also have these swim buoys. The swim buoys are like a big balloon, and it's a flotation device. So you have this belt around your waist. You have a little rope going from the belt to the buoy, this little balloon. And then the balloon has like a bladder inside. The bladder holds another balloon with the air so it stays inflated. And there's a little pocket in there. So people would put like a snack in their buoy and carry it with them. Some of these guys would put their phones in there in waterproof cases, and they're taking these pictures of themselves in the water or videoing it or taking like a video of them talking and their Statue of Liberty's in the background. These awesome, awesome pictures. I got to go up and talk to Will Kane. He runs Fox in the morning show, and so he's always talking about this event. So he puts his money where his mouth is, and he swims it with us.
Wow.
I'm meeting these guys that are MMA fighters, like pros, and also SEALs. So now we're getting up to the start line, and we're all in a row. So there's a row of like 20, and there's like 15 rows of 20, and then each row will go. Everyone jumps off, and you wait for that person to swim out of the way so you don't jump on top of them, and then you jump down. You want to make sure you go feet first so your flint fins don't get knocked off. You want to be holding on to your goggles so they don't get knocked off your face or hold around your neck. That's fine. And some people would hold their buoy, almost no one was. So it's your turn to jump. Three, two, one, go. Now I'll tell you this: I did hesitate on go because I'm looking down. And I'm like shit, but it said go. So then it was a small hesitation after shit. So for me, it was three, two, one, go, shit, and then I jumped. Right? I
That
landed in the
was your
water.
last oh shit moment, wasn't it?
It was. It was. I wasn't worried about the temperature. I wasn't worried about anything else. I was like, all I know was what Jen and Teresa and I had worked out. It's 10 and 1, 10 and 1, 10 regular freestyle strokes plus one breaststroke. And the goal was to get 10 and 1 done, just one set of 10 and 1, readjust, orient myself, and then for the first couple rounds of 10 and 1, figure out, hey, what kind of problems do I have? Address those, and then settle into a rhythm. I wasn't worried about settling into a rhythm early on. I was just my first set of 10 and 1. So I jumped off and I didn't even get to 10 and 1. As soon as I hit the water, my buoy ripped off. All the contingencies, all the plans we walked through, all scenarios, that didn't happen. So one thing about sport is that it's a sport if and only if there's variability. There's unknown, right? People say, well, I PR'd in the gym and this lift, or I'm better at practice. Well, that doesn't make it a sport. That makes it practice, right?
Right.
So this is an event. This is a sport. So I hit the water, and the buoy ripped off the rope that's tethered to my belt. And my buddy next to me is like, "Hey man, that's yours. You better go get that." So I swim over and get it. I'm treading water. The inner shell that holds the air and makes it a flotation device is still intact. It's still going to be inflated, so I'm going to be okay there. I got to tie a knot on the thing because they're already where it attached to the actual outer shell, it ripped off, so there's a hole. So I had to tie a knot, reattach it to my belt, but
While
there's
in
a
the water.
hole. But there's a while I'm in the water, treading water, and there's a hole in the outer shell, which nothing I can do about that. It's just going to take on water and fill up pretty quick, and now it's going to be a ton of drag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now you're in the actual river with now you got to figure out how you're gonna tread water and uh, tie a knot and have a heavier source of drag. None of which I'm assuming you probably trained for.
I I practiced treading water.
Yeah,
I practiced like taking my goggles on and off while I was treading, but that was it, man.
yeah.
I didn't practice losing my
Tying
buoy.
knots.
I didn't practice tying knots. I didn't practice, hey, get out of the way while you're tying a knot so the next guy doesn't jump on your head, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
go ahead, my bad.
all you could do is, hey, what's the next step,
Yeah.
and try to figure it out, right?
So you're
And
you're in the water now. You got you're treading. You got more drag. Um, what happens then? You just start swimming or what?
so then I go, all right, 10-1. I'm back to the start, so let's get 10-1. So I do 10-1, and I'm like, wow, this is way worse than I had ever envisioned.
Yeah.
Because the chop is coming, the waves are coming right at you. It's not just current like dragging you. There's now waves. So when I do that
Slamming you in
ten
the
and
face.
one, it's hitting you in the face. So when you put your face up above water to see where you're going, there's a wave in front of you, so you don't see over the wave. So you just can't see at all. So it's 10-1. You can't see at all until you put your face up out of the water. But now you can't even see then. So now I'm like, shoot, I
You're
don't
looking for
have.
Statue of Liberty.
I can see that out of the corner, but like all I can do is like, all right, put my head down and go, and hopefully I'm going in the right direction. I can see that it's at like my 11 o'clock. I gotta swim until it's at like my 7 o'clock. I have to go way past it. So I start trying to make do, and I'm like, I'm getting beat. And I'm getting beat, but I'm going, and I'm getting beat, but I'm going. And finally, I'm getting beat so many times in my 10-1, I just flip over my back and try to reassess. All right, what's going on? I had some problems with my goggles, but that was fixable, not a big deal. When I'm kicking with my fins on my back, I'm moving, but now there's tons of current, and there's tons of current, and I didn't realize or practice or simulate that scenario that much. I thought, is this more than normal? I don't know. I don't have any reference points. Maybe I just suck. Maybe I'm just not good. I don't know. But the last thing I told my wife before I left her and got in line with the flags was, "Hey, I'll come home to you." And she looked at me, and to her credit, leading up to it and day of, I didn't notice until later. Like she was a mess
Really? She's freaking out.
leading up to it. She
And
was
I
a
don't.
mess.
Jen's not one to. I've never known Jim to freak out about anything.
No, so I didn't know it either until afterwards. I didn't know until afterwards. So she held all that in. It was like, hey, she would just coach me. Hey, we're 10-1. Here's what we're doing. Here's our plan. Here's our focus. We're not talking about any other problems. Go. So she flips that switch and she goes in that coach mode, and she was outstanding. So now I'm on my back and I'm kicking and I'm making progress. So I flip over on my stomach. I still can't see very well. So I'm just trying to. I would hope to only flip on my back once or twice, maybe three times on one of the legs, just to kind of get my bearings. I know in terms of like swimming volume, it's only a 30-minute swim. I swam 2 hours, right? I can handle the volume. Not being able to see and orient myself, and things aren't going so well, and I'm like, well, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm just sucking. So I'm making progress, but it's really slow, and people are way ahead of me. And there's about 30 or 40 of us, maybe 30, and we're all sucking pretty bad. Like we're running into each other, which isn't really that big of a deal, but we're not really making a lot of progress. We're making our way up to the Statue of Liberty. The statue is now at my 9 o'clock, but I got to get past it and around. And so some of the safety boats that were patrolling, like, hey, you guys are behind schedule. We're going to help you guys get to the barge. So about, I don't know, I'm about 40 minutes in of the 30-minute swim, maybe 45. And then so they snatch us out and scoop us up and they take us to the barge. They chuck us out and then we swim over the ladders and then climb up, right?
Gotcha.
And the ladders, it's a bit higher. It's like 20 foot. You climb 20 feet in the air, holding your fins. And I thought, well, that could be nerve wracking, but also happy just to see the barge. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Right.
So we climb up there, and like I would the entire event at that point was beyond me. I knew it was going to be hard to begin with. I knew I was going to be one of the weaker ones. I knew that if everything went pretty decently, I'd get it done. We did some push-ups in the beginning, not a problem. We did the run, not a problem. I knew the push-ups and pull-ups later would be fine. I go to Bill, and I go, Bill, like I tell him, this event is beyond me. I'm not good enough, which is so hard to say because one, I look up to Bill and have so much admiration to him. Two, I'm surrounded by all these SEALs who their mantra is "Don't quit," and "Don't quit" is tattooed on my arm. The word Sisu, and I spent 14 months of my identity investing in this day to get here. And I'm looking at the current and I'm how I did and how far behind I was everybody. I'm like, hey, Bill, this is where I was, man. This is beyond me. I got to take myself out of this. Like I don't have it. I'm not good enough. And he goes, you're going. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I know I let you down. Right. So a few of us don't go on that second leg. And we're on the barge, and the next leg you swim to the second barge, and the third leg you swim from that barge all the way to the island, and you get out on the solid land. And the second leg is supposed to be about another half hour. And I watch these guys jump off because I'm going to take this boat back and finish the run and the push-ups and the pull-ups.
Yeah.
I watch these guys jump off, and they are flying
Yeah.
to that second barge. And so now the current is going with them.
Right.
And that 30-minute swim took them about 10.
So you not only is the current strong enough to push them, what, twice as fast, three times as fast,
So about 3 times as fast as the
but
math.
three times as harder. And
So
you didn't know that.
no, I didn't know that. So on the way out, the first leg you're swimming against the current.
You're right.
So it's about 3 times harder than they said it was in the past. The second leg, they felt the current going with them. Now they're coming at this barge and they can't stop.
Oh wow.
So they have the same ladders. People got to climb up the ladder. They got three to a ladder. People are hanging on. Some people are being thrown against the barge. Some people, if you miss the barge at all because the current is so strong, now you're being pushed out to sea. But to Bill's credit, he had so many boats there, jet skis, that they were able to corral all those people that were pushed out to sea, save them, put them up on the barge. No big deal. Unfortunately, there were about a couple dozen that got pushed under the barge,
Oh, and that's not a
including
good place to be.
Jim Barkisi we had on here. He got
Hmm.
pushed under. He broke his hand. Kathy, the one with no fins, she got pushed under. And so now it's a life and death situation.
Right.
They were all great enough swimmers. Like Jim's going to swim the English Channel in a three-person relay with Kathy as the other person, right? It's two of the three. That's the level, and they got pushed under. So they end up like everyone's good, everyone's fine, everyone's safe. And Bill had the safety precautions in place to save people that were pushed out and whatnot. So Bill did all the things to keep it as safe as possible. Unbeknownst to us, there were these tropical storms and hurricanes down south around the Carolinas that affects the entire coast. So that day the current was a lot stronger. The winds picked up, so it was a lot stronger than everybody had anticipated. And even on the sec, I got dumped off of the second barge. Some of the seals there were active duty. They're like, "Hey man, they're calling this. This is the second scariest swim of my life. We shouldn't be out here at all." So Bill comes out and goes, "Hey man, the mission continues, but we're not doing the swim anymore."
Gotcha.
So they load us up, and 50 people to a boat, and they take us over the mainland. We clean off all the crap that's on us. We shower off. They give us our flags. We run to the World Trade Center. Super awesome.
Hmm.
Push ups and pull ups. I think there's a video. There's several videos of me. I'm like the front part of the stage for the push ups. I'm doing those. Well, we're surrounded by everybody. And then they had the final speeches. Some of the 9/11 survivors spoke. When we run towards a trade center, the bagpipes are going. There's two engines with ladders that are extended, holding the American flag between the two of them. The dude O'Neill, the dude that shot Bin Laden,
Wow.
he gave a speech. So we're surrounded by all this greatness. And at the end of the day, we raised over $800,000 for those families. We had a party afterwards. It was rock and roll and rap themed.
Yeah.
Bill dressed like Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses.
Gotcha.
And I sat down with my Led Zeppelin shirt. My wife, we cleaned up, took a shower, and went over to the party. We finally had a sigh of relief.
Hmm.
And hey, got through as best we could. Would have liked to have done more. Everyone would have liked to have finished. But that's the deal. It's game day, and it's everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face. Of what Mike Tyson says. Well, we all got hit in the face. We adjusted. We kept everyone safe.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Raised money, raised awareness. Let that party. Sat down, and it was open bar for a while. And I was like, we'll take that Colonel Taylor bourbon. And
Yeah.
that guy poured me and Jen these couple stiff drinks. Had plenty of food, and we kind of sat back and chilled and just were thankful that Jesus watched over us and everybody else.
Hmm.
Thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for my family that was all in. My family back at the gym that was all in. Jen's relaying updates to all these group chats. My wife, who was there by my side, you know, just tears of joy of the great people I was around and the leaders that were there, the military community. It was outstanding, and I was super proud to just be part of it. I was super proud of the journey to get there and to lead my family and some friends that messaged me, "Hey, you inspired me and stuff." And because at some point, when Jesus calls your name to come home, it's over. So you gotta make it. We gotta make an impact now. And if you hear me talking all about things I'm trying to do, it's make an impact. If 4 or 5 people listen to this and they share it with someone else and they decide, "Hey, I'm gonna try something hard and make my life better," and it reverberates and there's a ripple effect, that is my calling. That's one of the reasons we have this show, and one of the reasons I did this whole event.
Like you said earlier, you put 14 months of your identity into this event. And at the end of it, did you, you know, I'm sure you did a lot of reflecting, but at the end of it, did you feel like, man, what's next? Or did you feel kind of, well, not what am I gonna do now? Did you have any of those thoughts and feelings right afterwards, or did that not hit until you're on the plane home, or what?
Well, it's been a few weeks even since it occurred,
Hmm.
and it hit in that moment. It hurt later that night, and it hit a lot of days since then. I can tell you this: uh, there was regret that it didn't happen how I wanted it to. But that's sport. People make the team, but they don't start, or they start, but they don't win, or they win, but they don't go to a bowl game, right? So when I always tell people it's the journey, not the destination, it really is. But the destination is important. There's no two bits about it. The destination is absolutely critical. So
The
there's
end
some.
is part of the journey.
It is part of the journey. It's not just the journey. The end is part of it, right? You're absolutely right. That's a huge point. So there's some disappointment for sure. I had to make a call that, you know, emotionally I'm feeling all these things, but I'm like, hey, let's fucking keep going. Let's go. Hey, you got your ass beat. Let's go. But also, you have to take, at some point, there was a switch where there was a realization that I am not good enough for this. And that was painful to realize, but it's absolutely true. If I'm a 500 squatter and I got 600 on my back, I'm not good enough for 600. And so that was a hard pill to swallow that I couldn't finish that one leg. It's hard to pill to swallow that we all didn't finish the whole thing. Having talked to Bill got a hold of me a week later, and to let someone down just eats at my core like nothing else. And he goes, "Hey Jim, you demonstrated great courage that day to tell me no multiple times after you had tried so hard to get there." And he goes, "And your decision ended up being the wise one to recognize the elements in the situation, whereas we didn't.
Yeah.
So you ended up making the wise decision and had all the courage to do so." So on the one hand, it helps your ego feel better, right?
Yeah.
But you still want to like, fuck, man, I want to get it done. So do I want to do that again? Yes and no. Like I absolutely want to do it because there's unfinished business, but you got to prepare for it. So without swimming against the current or in chop like that, it's a huge critical component that I won't have between now and then because I live in Indiana. I got a lot of these guys live on the coast, so they swim all the time in the ocean as a matter of habit. They have like swim clubs at 6 in the morning all summer long. They
Yeah.
do it and they post pictures. I'm like, yeah, I live in Indiana, bro. So I would have to be able to simulate or take some lessons or some ocean swimming and practice that, which takes a huge commitment, effort, time, money.
Right.
I don't necessarily need something to continue to train. I've always trained. So I'm back to swimming. I'm back to lifting. It does help though if I have something on the calendar, whether it's a 5K or hike the Grand Canyon or something. So I know I'm going to do something else physically challenging. I don't need that to validate me, but for me, it's just fun. Bill calls it adventure therapy. If you're on an adventure, there's some therapy there. Hey, I did this thing, just keep rebuilding your sense of resilience in your ego. So
Yeah.
you give yourself your own therapy. So there's going to be something that comes up as to be determined.
Hmm.
Um, but I know I'm just going to keep trying to build myself and win the day today, which means eat well, train, get sleep, take care of your family, work hard. So,
You talked about, part of sport is you win some, you lose some. And, you know, I think that's, you mentioned something about, you can train every single day. You can do everything right and still lose.
mhm,
There's a strength coach out there that says some quotes like that or something. But,
yeah,
I talk to our guys, especially, a lot of the guys that I talk to on our football team at the school I'm at, coming off a loss, man, I just talk to them like, look, you guys you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You're probably not ever going to win them all. And there's always something to be learned, especially in sports. You go watch film, you learn what you did wrong so you can win the next one. And you limit your mistakes and you limit the things that lost you, whatever it is that you lost. And part of becoming a winner is learning how to lose a little bit, I think. And I think that helps build character and helps build, um, a little bit more drive. But I would say you probably, for the most part, did everything you could in your power for 14 months straight and got hit with reality, just like a lot of people do. And the thing is some people find that out in sports. Some people go to a college and they realize, hey, look, this is not for me.
hmm,
College sports is not for me. Business school is not for me. You know, um, and reality hits you in different kind of ways. Um, and a lot of times it's not a life-threatening decision. You know, I think what Jim was saying about you making that wise decision. Um, I think that says a lot about your ability to recognize your situation and recognize the realities of what you're going through. Um, and that's a big part of sports and a big part of competing in this stuff.
that the first line in that Rudyard Kipling's poem "If," and it says like, if you can keep your head while everyone else around you is losing theirs. So I'm as emotional as they come a lot of times. So I just thank Jesus that He's able to intercede on my behalf and say, "Hey Jim, take a moment here and look around." And when I was upset about that, but we're at the World Trade Center doing these push-ups, I'm like, cause you like to your point, I thought I had done all my prep as best I could. Well, some people did all they could, the best they could, to show up to work that day in September of 2001. They got their kids off to school, they got to work on time, they're ready to work, and their tower comes crashing down and they die. They didn't do anything wrong. Like I prepped as best I could for this event, and my buoy breaks, step one, and then the current was uncharacteristically high. And no one has ever won everything all the way to get to the top. Look at Jordan, look at anybody. And you're right, you have to know how to lose. So a lot of times when you take a loss, it's how quickly can you come back and win the day the next day. And for some people, it might take them multiple days to come back and get right the ship. Or you'll see on a 4-day tournament for golf, they screw up day one. Well, now day two sucks, and day three sucks, and day four sucks. Or if you're bad in the first quarter running the ball, well, then you start fumbling the ball in the second quarter because you took a loss and you haven't put in a process or you haven't built that resilience to come back from that loss. You have to come back. You have to have a process of how to come back from the loss, and you have to minimize that time. So does it take you one day? Does it take you one week? Does it take you a year to bounce back? Can you bounce back in 5 minutes? Football plays are coming pretty quick. Can you bounce back? Can you bounce back in 30 seconds after you just got beat? So you must have a process to learn how to lose and adjust and get back at it because that one bad play could turn into an entire year,
Yeah.
right?
Now, with all things said and done,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the how has your reasoning for doing any of this changed, or how does your emotions and your thoughts, what are your whys now compared to how they were then, and were you aware of the changes that might be happening during the event, after event? When did your whys really start to change and whatnot between the beginning 14 months ago and now?
What's nice is that so many of them got realized
Yeah.
that, hey, I wanted to be healthier. Check. Want to learn a new skill. Check. I want to prove to myself I could do something. Check. Want to set an example to other people. Check. I had my son-in-law, Andrew. He messaged me, hey, Jim, I found what you're doing so inspiring. Thank you. I want to do some things. Check. I had a member at the gym, Dina, come up to me. Hey, I like how you say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't just on a lot of lip service. You're in the fight. Check. I want to be afraid of something and get through that. I was terrified of being in the water in the pool. Totally not terrified now. I was terrified of being in open water. Not terrified. I want to handle fears. Check. I want to surround myself with great people. Like people like Bill Brown, I admire that person all the way to the end. People that like Kathy and the people that just help me. You want to be around that caliber person? Check. Do something for your country? Check. Raise a lot of money? Check. So even though we had a bunch of losses, like how can I sit there and feel bad about that? Like the whole day ended up being the whole event ended up being outstanding. And it just encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing and trying to lead from the front.
And I wouldn't call those necessarily losses, you know, definitely lessons learned,
Yeah, for
you'd
sure.
say.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
because I think the event itself is something that's not a lot of people aren't going to be able to just go and do that. That's not something that I can't imagine like the horror scene of what it was like for some of those elite swimmers and some of those Navy SEALs that are getting slammed up against the boat with one ladder with people trying to climb up that thing. I can't imagine what that probably was like for some of those people. During the moment of that event, whenever everybody thinks it's going to be from what I've been told, the previous events have all ran smooth, and next thing you know, it's you got Navy SEALs saying we gotta get out of here.
Well, luckily they were leading from the front and they assessed it on that second barge, like, hey man, let's shut this down. So they were trying to do the right thing. They weren't trying to just muscle us all the way through. Bill had all those safeguards in place, the Port Authority, the police, and other SEALs were talking about, hey man, this is probably too much. And they're like, hey, okay. Because I know they had that switch where, hey, we're attacking this mission. But cooler heads prevailed. Bill was an outstanding leader with everybody else, making sure everyone's safe. Like he's not going to want anyone to get hurt. He want to be able to live with himself, right? So, uh, but to have that adversity, there's probably some people saying, "Oh shit,"
Yeah.
right? "Oh shit, this is a little rough," and that's okay. That's okay.
So moving forward, we're done with the meet or the done with the swim. We're done with the show. Looking back on everything regarding the athlete builder model, is there anything you would change about it, or not, or anything you would make different with the model that we follow in this event that you did?
Not a lot to change. Here's the thing: like anything, the more you apply it, the better you do. So if you want to be better at math, the more you apply your math and work at it, the better you do. So the more I would utilize things and hunt for weaknesses or leverage teammates, or even after the event when you do your AAR, your after action report. Like I have all my notes of how things went down, all the things that I would need to do differently next year or I need to learn. So, like anything else, the more you apply it, the better you do. And when I would get behind things or not progress as quickly, that's on me for not applying it as much. But the more I would apply any of these lessons, these are just all life lessons. I would just improve faster the more I applied it.
So what's next? What's the next thing on your radar?
So this rest of this calendar year, keep training. Want to maintain that I'm still swimming a mile, 2,000 meters, 2 miles at a time when I can do that. And on a slow day would be a mile. So I'll make sure I maintain that. I'm gonna continue to get leaner. Those are just some basics. My wife and I have talked about climbing a 14er, which is a 14,000 foot, mountain here in the United States. But, we'll see. I got Jack's football season. Maddie's trying out for Alabama's rowing team, and it's going well. I got Sam at Purdue. Jen's Maddie's at Butler. So, with our 6 kids, there's a lot going on, and I'm just honestly want to grow what we're doing here, get in front of more students, and make an impact.
Any you feel like you got some pressure off your back a little bit?
Well, yeah, yeah, but there's always pressure that you self-inflict. That if you do it in a healthy way, pressure is a gift. In an unhealthy way, it's not. There's pressure for me to make an impact and improve what we're doing before we die. I feel that all the time, which I like, and I want to make sure we're doing it. So it's you know what? I'm really glad for the experience.
Gotcha, good deal. Well, Jim, that's all I got for you, man. It's
All right, my friend.
that's all I
Thanks
got.
for running it back 2 times in a row where you're calling all the shots and that running the questions. So I enjoyed it, man. It's fun to sit back and just answer questions versus doing all the questioning. So you did a great job, Luke. Appreciate it.
I'm working on my main guy, my main character scene here, so
All
hopefully I can
right.
get better.
All right, cool. Appreciate
So,
you.
hey, it's been fun, man. Good job, man. For
All right,
real.
we'll see you.
I'll see you.